as you go.
But, wait, why?
Because they want to kill you. Hey.
Beat a girl.
Abby.
Oh.
Now from the other side.
They got you out here too? Yeah, what a haul. I need some medical supplies. Can you put me where I'm supposed to?
Abby, just checked in with Isaac. He wants you back at the farm.
Let me talk to Isaac.
Talk to him in person. You're going back with the next shipment.
You're fucked.
Yeah. What are you doing?
She's been AWOL.
Trying to look confident, though, you guys. Tell by my body posture.
Give me your hands.
She's not yet willing to...
Fight them. She's surrendering to them. They're not her enemy yet.
Just staring daggers into his face, though. Like, are you really gonna do that?
Hey! Hey! Let me the fuck out! God damn.
You're gonna dislocate your shoulder.
Chelsea Tavares
I never thought I'd see you on Isaac's bedside.
did a really fantastic job as Nora.
You find no
It was important that all of you had really good chemistry. That's just, you have to sell years of friendship in very short scenes.
I need some medical supplies.
Why? What happened to him?
And again, this just myopic focus.
Compartment syndrome. Bashed forearm.
You're not treating him, are you?
Mel.
But she's not right. Interesting that even here that these people love each other, that there's tribes within a tribe within a tribe. 'Cause she's, yeah, lying to Nora.
We haven't cleared out the lower floors yet.
Do they have what I need? Build up for the scariest fight.
Probably.
We're about to get into our Resident Evil homage.
I'll be fine. She's so cool.
You get caught.
Nora?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do with this.
I'm like, this will bite you in the ass.
All right, come on.
But, alright.
It's like that she's ready to pummel whoever it is that grabbed her. And this is something we'll see with Yara later as well, which, like, these kids are told to stay put, and they're starting to care so much for Abby, they don't stay put.
They're all looking for you. What did you do?
Nothing. I told you to stay put.
I couldn't. Your friends are all over the place.
I really like the glue that happens between this scene and the next, and showing this river rapids ride, and it has very much this apocalypse now feeling that you're
Follow me.
cruising through a war-torn area.
This game is so ugly.
This was this little sequence. I think this was suggested by Joe, our editor on this game. I love these murals.
Yeah.
sometimes these like kind of connecting shots I find really beautiful. Just giving you a little bit of a gap in time.
Now this shifted relationship with Lev and Alice.
Oh yeah, and
And
Lev's
it's
just
like-
been taught to fear those dogs.
Right.
They just rip them apart.
And another example of just the beauty of animals in this world and
Oh,
how they represent innocence.
look at this baby.
I'm staring at the animation on the fingers and how well done it is.
Well done. You can go see her now if you want.
Is she gonna be okay?
Yeah, actually.
All this time after what they did to Joel, after all the seraphites they've killed, finally meeting these two kids,
Just kids.
just starts to put it all in perspective for Abby.
I know.
Her body figures it out before her head does.
What happened to us?
What happened to us, right? That's the most she's going to talk about, all these things that she's done.
Maybe we stop looking for the light.
Maybe.
The idea that, even when we fail, we still have to push forward for something better. That's what Owen represents.
I'm gonna go check on the girl.
Okay.
Something so beautiful and sad here when we reveal the missing arm and this exchange of a smile between these two characters. Another time I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's just, I love showing off your performances with no dialogue. It just makes our job easier as writers. Just leave out the writing.
That's the secret to good writing. Leave out the writing.
Like that she's ready to pummel whoever it is that grabbed her. And this is something we'll see with Yara later as well, which like these kids are told to stay put, and they're starting to care so much for Abby, they don't stay put.
They're all looking for you. What did you do?
Nothing. I told you to stay put.
I couldn't. Your friends are all over the place.
I really like this, the glue that happens between this scene and the next, and showing this river rapids ride, and it has very much this apocalypse now feeling that you're
Follow me.
cruising through a war-torn area.
This game is so ugly.
This was this little sequence. I think this was suggested by Joe, our editor on this game. I love these murals.
Yeah.
And finally, she has one good night of sleep.
Yeah, but consciousness is about to slap her in the face.
Owen? Just me.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like that Mel doesn't even, you're not even worth my time to talk about it.
Changing Yara's bandages.
But then she snaps.
She's so powerless in this situation.
What are they fighting about?
Fuck you, Yara. I wouldn't leave you behind.
Oh, and this was a fun
Love
beat
doesn't
because he
always-
did just learn how to say fuck you.
Owen invited them to come to Santa Barbara. That is very Owen.
She's trying to be jokey and connect with Mel.
Talked him out of going by now. Hoping that she doesn't know.
Right.
Actually, I'm going with them. But not if you come.
Oof.
What? He may fall for your little act with these kids, but I don't. There's nothing to fall for.
Isaac's top scar killer suddenly had a change of heart.
It's such an insult, right? But it's like, she probably deserves it. But the idea that she's only being nice to these kids to earn favor with Owen.
You're
Yeah.
a piece of shit, Abby.
You always have.
It's so sad that she doesn't fight back because she probably agrees with her.
Oh, fully. Fully.
Done with you.
Well, I think Mel is also calling into question, like, can characters change? Can people change? We see it with Joel, but it happens so rarely, right? And so many of our characters are myopically focused and can't change no matter what. So I understand why she feels like this must be bullshit.
No, but she finally feels like, oh God, I'm doing the right thing. I'm finally doing the right thing. Maybe I can be better. And then like this
Right.
Abby?
instant back to reality.
I like that showing emotion in this world is somehow a weakness.
Nice shirt.
We had read a lot on what was on that shirt. We had,
Yes,
I just
I was
remember we
just
had all
thinking the same
these
thing.
all these different designs that were just too distracting, and finally we ended up with something pretty subtle.
How's your arm?
Because she'd need an aquarium shirt.
Why does that otter look so sad?
Otter lost its arm too.
Lev coming around?
He will.
I remember a conversation I had with Victoria here about
Do you mind helping me look?
Yara's motivation, how she's she feels like she needs to repay Abby in some way, and she's complimenting her, and she's pulling her in to like find Lev,
You ran off this way.
but more for Abby's sake than for actually finding Lev. Oh, this was a tough one to write.
Oh yeah.
How is he doing this?
Hey, do you think maybe he could convince your mom?
If she saw him like this, she'd strangle him with her bare hands.
The conflict between love and duty, of like the love a mom should have for her kids and the duty she has for her religion.
I heard some of your people calling him Lily.
I like here that Yara is the practical one. She sees the world as it is, and she sees the consequences as they are. And in some way, in another universe, she and Abby would be wonderful enemies because they are both strong, myopic soldiers, right? But for Yara, the risk to Lev's life is worth giving everything up.
I told him he had to keep it to himself.
And the guilt, right? This guilt here.
I was hoping he'd snap.
Well, it's that it's also Yara has greater love for Lev than their mom had for Lev. That this moment that she's describing here is what made her lose faith.
One of the men was suicide.
And we don't talk about it, but I think the difference that I see between Yara and Lev is that Yara has lost her faith, and Lev has just
I screamed at him.
refocused it, went back to the origins, to the writings, and sees how it was corrupted.
I was so stupid.
This is another one of those scenes. I thought Victoria here just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we find something to cheer him
I like these in these action games. Sometimes having a goal of like, oh, let's find a toy to cheer up a kid, and that becomes your gameplay objective.
What about this?
It's perfect. Mel's wrong.
Another brilliant thing Ashley Swadowski sort of conceived of is you watch the kids visually change and move away from scars over the course of this game. So here we see Yara is now dressed like a civilian, but she still wears the braids.
Sorry, I didn't realize you owned everything in the aquarium.
She's not fully letting go.
My aquarium, my stuff. I'm just kidding. Take whatever you want. You can't.
Have you seen Lev?
Yeah. Who's down
Yeah,
there.
we're about to get into this conversation of, I mean, they're talking about their relationship, but thematically there's greater stuff here, which is when are things too late? When have you gone so far that there's no coming back from it?
She couldn't tell I was joking.
They are very literal.
They're literal people.
I suck with kids.
It's funny he says he sucks with kids, but I think Owen would be a great dad.
Oh, I think he'd be an incredible dad.
Another world.
Coming to Santa Barbara, right?
I can't.
Why?
You know why.
He's such an optimist, right? He's about to talk about that. We'll figure it out. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out.
I know. I know it's a fucking mess. I know. But we can choose to be happy. Happy.
Again, going back to something you said earlier, Neil, but it's like this idea that suffering is the way that we honor the dead.
I don't think Abby has fully admitted, like, no, I don't have a right to be happy. There's no...
Yeah.
Lev! Get back here! Lev!
What's he doing?
He's going after her.
After who?
His mom.
She's gonna kill him, Abby.
Is the boat ready?
Not yet.
How much time do you need?
A few hours.
This is their last conversation together.
She just had surgery. I'm fine.
How else am I gonna find him?
I'll go with you.
Owen?
They're heading to the fucking island.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna let her go by herself.
I think there's a part of Abby that knows she's about to head into a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is her forcing Owen to stay here.
She's really trying.
She's trying.
The irony is in staying here.
She
is
dooms
what-
them.
She
is what
abandons them, yeah.
Dooms him.
I don't know when it is in gameplay that you realize, like, oh God, I killed them all as Ellie. You know what I mean? What did I do?
Is that a sniper rifle?
Uh-oh.
Stay on the dock. I'll go get a boat and pick you up here.
No, I can help.
Not with this.
Girl, you have one arm.
She is so tough.
She's badass.
But yeah, Abby doesn't want any more blood on her hands. So just like with Owen, she wants Yara to stay behind.
Get down! Abby, what the fuck?
Manny.
You by yourself?
Yeah.
I like the dynamic between Abby and Manny.
Sniper's a fucking pro.
Just a couple of bros.
Doing out here?
A couple of bros.
We were supposed to hit the island tonight. Then this pendejo showed up.
Tommy's so
I sent the
cool.
guy to call for help.
It's so interesting how very few players guessed that this was Tommy right
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
I need one of those boats. Now.
Just because it's been so long and you forget
forget,
about there's
yeah.
a whole other cast of characters that are on this island, and now
Let's do it.
these two stories are starting to merge.
Right, at first it feels coincidental, like, oh, she just happens on Manny. It's like, no, Manny was targeted. the revelation it's Tommy.
What? No wonder he was so good.
Like, oh right, this whole other game that's happening finally collides. If you don't see a character die on screen, you should always question their death. That music is so ominous. I like how she's just burying the death of her friend.
Yeah.
Just stay again, she has this very narrow focused mind.
And the realization that it's all gonna come crashing down.
And the guilt, I would imagine, right? Like, the thing I would be burying in that moment is, oh, that's that guy? Oh, I'm complicit in the death of my friend.
There's another one of those that's, if you were to see the making of it, it'd be so funny because they're like, okay, and wave. And wave. And you'll have to act the physics of the boat. And then later the animators like touch it up.
In the earlier days of this game, there were 5 days that the girls were sort of doing their thing in Seattle.
And now we're on their territory.
There was a whole day where Ellie would go to Scar Island to give you this opportunity to see them in the same nurturing way that we would see the stadium, where you get to see them take care of their children and their seniors, and you get to see them farming, and you get to see them be human people. But we cut it because ultimately it didn't shift Ellie's journey. This scene.
This is a heavy scene. Unlike the rest of the game, which is just
a comedy.
That shift right there for Yara is really nice, of going from grieving to protecting. Consoling, yeah, that's right. Those cuts.
And she knew it was going to happen. She knew that's what the outcome was going to be.
She started chasing
Lev's an optimist.
Trying to make her stop. It's just pushing her off of me. She hit the table.
With everything that baby Lev has been through in this past week, this is truly the death of his innocence.
Now these three have become the us. And the WLF is about to become the them. There's this little connective tissue right here of, or this moment of connection between Abby and Lev that I love, that she hands him the bow. Just the exchange, again, this exchange between them.
My baby.
Sweet baby. All she can do is arm him.
This way.
Got one!
Oh, this is
the... Yep. So right, originally you would come into this island, and this is where we would have killed Lev, and we had these concepts of stone mound graves, and that you would find Lev being buried in one. But instead, we flippity-flopped it.
It's funny. It's like Abby stopping Lev from doing the thing she couldn't even do, is grieve for the person she loves. And there's our second Isaac scene.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, not a good look.
This was really fun watching you guys play. This back and forth. It's like every other time you've been able to reason with Isaac, but he's at the end of his rope.
By the way, we'll deal with you back home.
He's not one of them, please.
Abby, move.
God damn it, he's just a kid.
Isaac doesn't see a kid, you know?
You have 3 seconds to get away from that scar. 1.
You really gonna shoot me?
2.
I'm not fucking moving.
That facial expression was great.
And Jeffrey Wright gave us a lot of deaths, a lot of falling in all these different ways. I remember that. This was another one of those where we wanted to make the volume feel bigger and run with the characters. And then we had a hard time, I don't know how much you remember, Laura, of like getting this beat to land right here, this exchange between the two characters, until we somehow, I don't remember the exact order of events, but we came up with this line right here. You're my people.
Yeah, we were on the stage and it just wasn't quite working. And you came to me and you said, let's come up with let's brainstorm some other lines. And I said, you're my people. And you're like, okay, that's it. And you just walk back on set. And it really, it's become my favorite line in the game because it is, to me, it is the unifying idea.
This one here is actually one of my favorite scenes in this game.
I agree. This one's really great.
It's just the visuals, the exchange, how far we've come. Just the idea that he's cold. The weather.
She's so Joel here. She's just such a dad here.
This is, again, this is one of those things that's very easy to write on the page. She takes her jacket off, she wraps it around Lev. Very hard to execute and make it look good. Look how she's looking at him.
Well, it's like now she's looking at a small version of herself, right?
Yeah.
She knows what it is to see your parent dead, to see your world burn, and now she's just got to helplessly watch another person do it.
This is, again, where the two stories are barreling into each other. And we have a series of losses. I mean, there's this nice dramatic irony. The player already knows what's waiting for Abby inside, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they're waiting to see how this
If they
plays
remember, a lot of people forget.
No,
But as soon as they see Alice,
Oh yeah, Alice is the
that's
the
the
trigger.
giveaway. What can you say to someone that just lost his mom and his sister at the same moment?
Alice is the only dog that actually has to die in the game, which was a fun thing during press when people would be like, why do you want us to kill dogs? And it's like, you don't actually have to in any of the setups. They're all voluntary kills, but Alice is the only requisite one.
I'm pretty sure we're always careful to say you don't have to kill dogs, but we didn't say you don't have to kill a dog.
Dog. The cutest dog that you play fetch with. Be careful.
This is, Laura, you make this look very easy, but this is a very hard scene, I think, watching from the outside to act, which is you have to go from grief to pure rage. I think, Hallie, this was your throwing up that you wrote into this scene.
Yeah, probably.
It's such a great visual of how much grief somebody can take before your body just rebels against it.
Yeah.
This little, the way he says Abby here.
Abby.
Almost afraid to show her this might lead to the people that did this. And of course, this was Ellie's mistake of dropping the map here. in her panic attack. And and the music is doing a good job of just taking you internally into Abby's head. Now she's regressing back to the vengeful spirit she was before. Our main characters collide, or about to collide.
I think one of the things that makes Laura's performance here so special is that this character is so hard and so terrifying, but in every scene where Laura
Our main characters collide, or about to collide.
I think one of the things that makes Laura's performance here so special is that this character is so hard and so terrifying, but in every scene where Laura is scary, there's also this patina of vulnerability, of fragility that's coming through, where you can feel that she's quaking with rage, but there's so much complex stuff happening underneath that rage. It's really great. You're not bad.
It's funny because it's the same way I feel about Ashley's performance. So there's always this.
Just that rage feels so real.
She's so good too, like fucking one shot.
And from her perspective, it's Jesse's an NPC.
Yeah.
He means nothing to her.
Stand up! Now!
Don't you fucking dare!
Shut the fuck up! All right, stop! Stop!
What is so beautiful here, or tragic, is that Ellie doesn't get it. Right? What Ellie's about to say here is like,
I know why you killed Joel. He did what he did.
well, he did it to save me. There's no cure because of me.
And Abby's like, what?
Not
It's
about that. I don't know how much Abby cares about it. It's about her dad.
You killed my friends.
Like, I showed you mercy.
And you wasted it. Wait!
And players were so uncomfortable here. Like, I have to go up against Ellie now. And this is very much by design.
Who is scary.
She's wily, but you're beefy.
Stay here. Watch the exits. Don't let her leave.
If I remember correctly, Ashley, we had you like have water in your mouth when you delivered some of the lines here, because your mouth is meant to be filled with blood.
Yes. Wow. Okay, because I remember I was, as my usual, I was like, why am I just laying here? I would try everything I could to try to get up and go save her. So I think the water and having that and having sort of showing or being able to hear how messed up Ellie is in that moment.
This is the other scene that lives in my head. The knife to a pregnant girl's throat. It's so terrible, but in her mind, like, Ellie just intentionally killed her pregnant friend, and Mel is so visibly pregnant.
And the fact that Abby does not kill them shows that she's kind of in a little bit of a better mental place, I think, than Ellie is.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
she's
grown
also
a
got her
little bit.
moral compass, like,
Yes.
right in front of her.
Yeah.
Well, there's like
Yeah.
two versions of love right in front of her. One
Yeah.
is a destructive one of like wanting to do justice by the people that I've lost, and the other one is wanting to do right by this kid that I've come to be their protector. And she
Who's already
chooses.
seen too much violence, who's already experienced too much wrath, right? It's like, he needs peace.
Ellie? Hey.
That poor baby.
That poor baby.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations here about Ellie's thought process, the things she's not expressing, but she put the baby's life at risk right now, right? It's like, who knows what, and when she's in this fog of PTSD, what she could have done.
This is the moment for Ellie where she's...
It's never going to get better.
It's not going to get better, and she's put her family in danger. So it's probably better to just go.
Well, Dina is also trying to sweep it under the rug, and this is what's going to happen in the next. He was like, let's just go back to bed. Everything's fine. If I could buy another week, maybe she'll get a little bit better.
Or even just the distance to speak. It's just like when somebody's really in the thick of like the panic and the fog of grief like that, it's like you do kind of need time in order for them to kind of continue to progress through the stages. But it's like Ellie is refusing to move through these stages. And so like I feel like when we were doing this, like the patience that I have with it was that it's like maybe she'll move to the next stage soon. Maybe we're getting there. Maybe that's what we're getting to.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we had a whole different version of this part of the game where it was Maria that showed up.
Yeah, but we felt it would be more intimate if it were seeing how broken Tommy was.
Well, it should be like feel more the guilt of like seeing the damage on Tommy and having Tommy been changed over this year since he got back to Jackson, of like the guy that wanted to protect Ellie and not go on this quest for revenge is now guilting her into it.
I like that you're coming in late and you're seeing this man has been very broken, and we're getting a sliver of how the abuse he experienced and the things that he did in Seattle have irreparably damaged him. And he's standing right in front of Ellie, and Ellie is looking at how irreparably damaged this man is, and she's like, yep, let's do that to me too. I'm willing to see the ghost of my future. That's the fate I deserve.
Sorry.
Nah. We talked about it a lot, and yeah, it's what we both want, so.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we had a whole different version of this part of the game where it was Maria that showed up.
Yeah, but we felt it would be more intimate if it were seeing how broken Tommy was.
Well, it should be like feel more the guilt of like seeing the damage on Tommy and having Tommy been changed over this year since he got back to Jackson, of like the guy that wanted to protect Ellie and not go on this quest for revenge is now guilting her into it.
I like that you're coming in late and you're seeing this man has been very broken, and we're getting a sliver of how the abuse he experienced and the things that he did in Seattle have irreparably damaged him, and he's standing right in front of Ellie, and Ellie is looking at how irreparably damaged this man is, and she's like, yep, let's do that to me too. I'm willing to see the ghost of my future. That's the fate I deserve.
Sorry.
Nah. We talked about it a lot, and yeah, it's what we both want, so.
Well, the other thing we were talking about is the other big Ellie Tommy scene is after Joel's death and how they can't look at each other. And then this happens again here. Once he asks her to go, she can't look at him.
I think it's a confrontation thing, or when I'm feeling anger, I get uncomfortable, like I don't want somebody to see it.
It's also the shame, right? Of the shame of,
Yeah.
I'm letting you down. I'm letting Joel down. I'm letting myself down.
Yeah.
Described her as built like an ox, traveling with a kid with scars across his face. He said they're living.
I also think that there's something important in the scene for Dina, right? Because Dina has been such an amenable partner through so much of this game and their journey, and even when Ellie's off the deep end, Dina is a nurturing force. And here she's finally drawing the line.
We're done with that. So.
She's finally like, we're done with that. I'm speaking for Ellie now.
There's a line here, and you've crossed it.
And like the rage I felt too when he keeps going, I was like, it's insidious. You know, it's like he came and brought the virus back into the house and now she's sick again.
Think of all the guilt he's carrying. He failed to save Joel. He failed to save Jesse. He failed to get Abby. He's fucked up. His marriage has fallen apart. All he has left now is this revenge. That's it.
Well, it also it goes back again to that ego thing where it's like, you asked me to do this and I did it. I went to Seattle. Now I'm coming back for you to pay up, and you're going to be a little bitch about it?
Well, and again, he's too blind to see the suffering that she's going through. All he could see is like how damaged he is. But what he's say is like, oh, you live out here and you got your family and everything's cushy and everything's fine, and I'm the one suffering. But he doesn't see that he's not the only one suffering.
What a joke.
And I love that Jeffrey, when Dina walks over and Ellie's sitting there at the table, and Jeffrey is not even acknowledging Dina.
In a way, Tommy might feel like, I'm more family to you than Dina is. I've known you longer. Like,
that's exactly
think
what
of everything
it felt,
we've been through. And it's the only time there's really personal conflict between Ellie and Tommy.
That's one of my favorite Dina moments.
Yeah.
Because it felt so real.
I was so mad.
Yeah. Just like flying out the screen door and being like, listen, motherfucker, get off of our property. I love it.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we had a whole different version of this part of the game where it was Maria that showed up.
Yeah, but we felt it would be more intimate if it were seeing how broken Tommy was.
Well, it should be feel more the guilt of seeing the damage on Tommy and having Tommy been changed over this year since he got back to Jackson, of the guy that wanted to protect Ellie and not go on this quest for revenge is now guilting her into it.
I like that you're coming in late and you're seeing that this man has been very broken, and we're getting a sliver of how the abuse he experienced and the things that he did in Seattle have irreparably damaged him, and he's standing right in front of Ellie, and Ellie is looking at how irreparably damaged this man is, and she's like, yep, let's do that to me too. I'm willing to see the ghost of my future. That's the fate I deserve.
Sorry.
Nah. We talked about it a lot, and yeah, it's what we both want, so.
Well, the other thing we were talking about is the other big Ellie Tommy scene is after Joel's death and how they can't look at each other. And then this happens again here. Once he asks her to go, she can't look at him.
I think it's a confrontation thing, or when I'm feeling anger, I get uncomfortable, like I don't want somebody to see it.
It's also the shame, right? Of the shame of,
Yeah.
I'm letting you down. I'm letting Joel down. I'm letting myself down.
Yeah.
Described her as built like an ox, traveling with a kid with scars across his face. He said they're living.
I also think that there's something important in the scene for Dina, right? Because Dina has been such an amenable partner through so much of this game and their journey, and even when Ellie's off the deep end, Dina is a nurturing force. And here she's finally drawing the line.
We're done with that, Sarah.
She's finally like, we're done with that. I'm speaking for Ellie now.
There's a line here, and you've crossed it.
And like the rage I felt too when he keeps going, I was like, it's insidious. You know, it's like he came and brought the virus back into the house and now she's sick again.
Think of all the guilt he's carrying. He failed to save Joel. He failed to save Jesse. He failed to get Abby. He's fucked up. His marriage has fallen apart. All he has left now is this revenge. That's it.
Well, it also it goes back again to that ego thing where it's like, you asked me to do this and I did it. I went to Seattle. Now I'm coming back for you to pay up, and you're going to be a little bitch about it?
Well, and again, he's too blind to see the suffering that she's going through. All he could see is like how damaged he is. What he's say like, oh, you live out here and you got your family and everything's cushy and everything's fine, and I'm the one suffering. But he doesn't see that he's not the only one suffering.
What a joke.
And I love that Jeffrey, when Dina walks over and Ellie's sitting there at the table, and Jeffrey is not even acknowledging Dina.
In a way, Tommy might feel like, I'm more family to you than Dina is. I've known you longer.
That's exactly
think
what
of everything
it felt,
we've been through. And it's the only time there's really personal conflict between Ellie and Tommy.
That's one of my favorite Dina moments.
Yeah.
Because it felt so real.
I was so mad.
Yeah. Just like flying out the screen door and being like, listen, motherfucker, get off of our property. I love it.
So this was one of the first things we shot for this game.
Yep.
There's so many characters here. We had to shoot this in multiple batches and then stitch it all together.
I did several days just dancing.
Yes.
Yeah, remember we brought a dance choreographer that spent some time with you, Shannon.
Yeah.
This was the demo, and so we had to. This was tricky because we're introducing to the world a lot of new characters with a lot of interesting dynamics, and trying to do that through exposition, but as thin an exposition as possible because, dear God, nobody likes exposition. It was hard.
What happened?
Well, this scene has jumped around all over as we're playing with the structure. It used to be in the very beginning, and then we felt we just had too many cutscenes in the beginning. We need to get to the action a little bit faster, and then we moved it to the end. We changed the writing for the beginning.
She's putting on quite the show.
But there's something kind of nice, and I guess there's a tragedy to it of coming here at the end as a memory of just seeing Jesse's alive and Ellie and Dina are okay and no one's, and there's Joel.
Hey, what took you so long?
Oh, I'm here.
And this like really innocent first kiss.
Hey, don't forget, we're heading out early, so get some rest.
Yes, sir.
You're such a dick.
Come on. This was the first scene we shot. This was the first scene we shot after you hired me.
Yeah.
How bad do I smell?
I look at this and I'm just overwhelmed with all the details of the shirt, of sweat stains, of little hairs on the neck, little dimples on the smile. And just, this is hundreds of people of work for months to get this little moment. Sweat and trying to capture.
The hair that I put behind her ear is crazy.
Yeah. And that has to switch from being physics hair to being hand animated hair
It's
as soon as
crazy.
you make contact with it.
Whoa.
Or not.
And even just the kissing, like, I mean, it's just, it looks so realistic.
Yeah, and it's actually a combination of several performances all stitched together right here. And then the lighting has to change from shot to shot. It's interesting highlighting the bracelet that's back on Dina's hand. It's a nice reflective moment of like how innocent things were for all these characters.
Yeah.
I love just the little surprise on Ellie's face, the little like moment of shock before melting into it.
And then we're about to get into Seth. And again, Shannon, your rage is so real here.
Hey, this is a family event.
Fuck are you looking at?
This whole interaction was based on one time I was at Blockbuster and I'm just talking to my friend. I'm throwing curse words around, and the dad in front of me had his two kids, and he's like, "Do you mind? There's kids around." And that always stuck with me. I felt such shame having like used curse words in front of these kids.
What did you just say? Ellie,
Hey.
Ellie, don't.
Get the hell out of here.
Get your hands off me.
Hey! Enough. Go on, you. Let's go for a walk.
What about them?
You worry about yourself.
I feel so bad for Joel here.
Ugh, me too.
What is wrong with you?
She doesn't want to be under his shadow anymore.
No.
But he can't help himself.
He's just trying to. He's
someone
trying to dad.
someone is hurting her, and he's going to stand up for her.
Oh, Papa Bear. Yeah, you know you were an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saddest scene.
Yeah, with the first game, right, we're talking about how do you take this obsession of love, of a parent's love for a child, to the end of the line? And then this has the reverse of it, of like, how do you take hate to the end of the line? Which is also like another expression of love. And the engineering of it was that here she has this family that loves her, and it's not good enough because she's letting down Joel in her mind.
I love the different energies that you both bring to this scene where Dina is giving it her everything in this fight, and Ellie just has to shut down.
This scene, my God. I was so hard to leave you because you were so upset and so broken and so sad, and I was like, I should, my mom must stay. I'm sorry.
I would argue this is maybe Ellie's darkest moment, even though I know where we're going, because this is the choice where she forsakes.
This is where she makes the choice.
Yeah. And I think she knows there's a very good chance she's going to die on this journey.
I guess the thing that we don't talk about is like, I think she's suicidal.
Yeah, I think
agree. There's the guilt of what should have happened at the hospital.
That's why she leaves in the middle of the night. She's not saying goodbye because it's clearly suicide.
Yeah. When the pain gets too loud, she's not there anymore. She's incredibly vulnerable, but she's completely disassociated, and there is this absolute rejection of everything that is right.
I'm just supposed to sit here and wait for you.
At that point, like, you know, you're not talking to the person that you're in the relationship with. You're talking to the grief. And so it's like the convincing comes into like, are you even in there anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I just find you for 1 second? And she's just fully gone.
Both characters have very clear goals, and then there's an obstacle, and then they keep ratcheting out. Like Dina just ups the ante over and over and over until the last bit is ultimatum.
Even the grabbing of the face.
And then she pulls her hands down. Ugh. And that's it. She knows. Philosophically, with this game, what we wanted to do was allow our characters to make immoral choices that the audience would not be on board with. Up until now, like, we shed some of the audience of, like, you know, the Nora torture. Some people have issues with that, or certain other kind of violent moments. But here we lose almost everybody. And it is by design in that way of, like, you're now, like, playing this thing that you are not on board with at all. You have to keep going. And in a way that does align you with Ellie. These shots are so gorgeous. There's a nice misdirect coming up here. We purposely gave Lev chucks, so you're thinking for a second that, oh, okay, this is where I pick up Ellie's journey. And now you've been a while away from Abby and Lev, and now Lev has fully shed his seraphite exterior, has hair.
I love to see their growth, their relationship in this moment.
Okay, Constance.
In letting go of hate, Abby has taken on Owen's optimism, Owen's hope. This thing that was just this flame that was almost completely extinguished within her. Somehow in all that tragedy and all that horror, she was able to find it again.
Her face seems brighter, it seems lighter than it has been the entire game.
Come on.
Even in the flashbacks.
Is this frequency currently in use? This is
so small, but I love
What?
the hope. Again, it's just like she has a bit of hope here, and then it's cranked up to 10 when she hears the fireflies on the other side of this radio.
And isn't the firefly on the other side of this radio another Vox Machina hero?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Liam O'Brien.
Is it?
Yeah.
He was my fellow nurse, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, we were with the two nurses.
In Last of Us 1.
Is this frequency currently in use? This is Abby from Santa Barbara. Is anyone out there?
There's a nice reaction here that Lev has to Abby's, again, singular obsession of now finding the fireflies. And he's ready to give up.
Can anyone hear me? Hello?
And she keeps going in desperation.
I love artistically how the character models for Lev and Yara were kind of a blend of both of the actors' faces, because now I'm like looking at baby Lev, but I feel like you can see some spirit of Yara still.
Is this frequency currently in use? Hello, this is Abby from Santa Barbara. Can anyone hear me? If anyone can hear me, please reply. Please answer.
Don't give up.
Like that, you know, this was perfectly shot, like we're pulling away from her, that this is how the scene's going to end.
24, 25 Constance. We got a tip
I
about
don't
a
know
base.
why I get weirdly emotional in this scene.
For fireflies. I'm a firefly.
Maybe just seeing how happy she is.
Where were you stationed?
I was part of the Salt Lake outpost.
Like that little head shake.
God, I'm so awkward.
I mean, I guess I'm a firefly. I kind of disavowed them, but that is who I truly am.
He was my dad.
Well, how about that? We pulled everyone back
Like
from satellite
Liam's
stations.
acting right here, like in the reply. How about that? Like, holy shit.
200 strong now, with a few more every month.
Owen was right. You're about to get 2 more. How do we find you?
It's,
Oh god, yeah, that's there. There it is.
The large domed building in Avalon. We'll find you.
Okay.
Look at like the way Lev looks at her. He's happy for her.
Looking forward to it. Good luck, Abby from Santa Barbara.
Well, it's also like
Over and out.
there's a possibility of community here again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everything's going to turn out fine for these two.
But it needs to, Neil.
Here they get ambushed by a new group, the Rattlers.
The Rattlers are the worst people we've encountered in the game for both practical reasons, which were we want you to get to see Ellie at her most vicious, most violent. We want her kills to feel brutal and justified. And we want to feel like Abby and Lev, were they not saved, would have died.
There's also, with this group, wanting to make them really awful, to play a little bit with tropes and structure and misdirect the player, that in a lot of these stories, you have these two characters that you're rooting for against each other, and then there's a really evil force, and you see them team up, and they're going to work together to defeat the bad guys. And that's not how this plays out at all. That always felt a little too cliche, and I don't know if it really spoke to the themes of what we're trying to say here. But we wanted the player to think that's what's going to happen. There's a nice economy here of storytelling. Like, you know, we don't show Abby arriving at Santa Barbara with this boat that has become a character of its own in this story. And we're just here with Ellie picking up the tail end of their journey. There's also like a really interesting note here from Abby. And it's also the first time we're seeing just how emaciated Ellie has become. And she's sunburned and clearly not taking care of herself in the pursuit of Abby.
I mean, it mirrors it can't all be for nothing, because she's killed so many people at this point. If she stops, that all is just for nothing.
I really like the parallel of the first game of like, yeah, her wanting to see things all the way through with her stubbornness, even though there's a part of her that says this is not the right thing to do.
Yes.
Nice nice mirror here of the injury Joel had in the hospital in the first game. Yeah, we're constructing this. We wanted to injure Ellie badly. So again, she's choosing the pursuit of this thing over her own health, that she will likely die if she sees this all the way through.
I would argue she is dead already.
Doing this upside down hair was such a pain. Because they have to, essentially, you can't just move the hair upside down. You have to remodel the whole thing. And we wanted her to have lost so much blood. It's again, the whole thing is starting to feel like a fever dream, and she thinks she's seeing like Abby and Lev, and then realizes, oh no, it's very different people.
Travis and Logic.
This was another moment to show how far Ellie has come, and how easier it is for her to kill someone in cold blood now versus the earlier parts of the story. And one more instance where she could use her superpower of being immune to get herself out of these jams. And what she's employing here is very similar to what Nora did to her, which is like try to insult them so they could get reckless, and in that recklessness she'll find the opening.
Something funny?
Looks like you shit your pants. It's good trick. I remember in this scene when I take the gun off of Bobby, the strap in one of the takes went across his neck, and I gave him a really bad rope burn.
Oh no.
Because I just like yanked it really quickly, and he had that for about a week.
Oh no.
It looked really, I was like, oh no. It looked like he was strangled or something.
But he looked badass.
He was so excited. It was like, oh my God, Ellie killed me. He was such a fan of the game.
Right, he was excited.
I love how efficient that action is right there. Just grabbing the gun, spraying across his legs. And watch this little smirk that you give when he points out your bite. Because he doesn't know you're immune. No one's immune.
She had a scrawny kid with cuts by his mouth.
Travis Willingham.
Look at your face there is like the. It's like she's getting another hit of her drug. Of like, I'm actually back on the trail.
She's so close, you can feel it.
Watch this smile. Looks at the bite. Right.
Talk.
There.
She's in a holding cell in our camp.
Where's that?
Head that way till you hit the railroad track. That'll lead you to a resort.
It's like, had this exchange happened earlier, if she killed someone in cold blood earlier, there'd be a very different reaction. It's like she's becoming more and more like Joel at this point, more and more capable and more cold about the violence, where she could just execute it and move on and not think twice about it.
I think at this point she's completely disassociated from the Ellie we've ever known.
Staring him in the eye as he's dying. Just a hint that the injury's getting worse and worse.
But again, she's not going to stop.
She can't. Not yet.
Traxter Resort. Tall round building. Traxter Resort. Tall round building. Fuck.
Over here! Aim for his leg!
We'll go back.
Is that a gun? He's got a gun!
Go back!
God damn it.
Shit.
Remember this. Yeah, so the idea, right? She gets hit right at her injury. I like how badass this scene is. And the desperation.
Ugh.
Remember the thumb to the eye.
I got the key!
This is Matthew Mercer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What I like about this sequence, too, is, like, you can look at everything that Ellie does as so ugly and so brutal and so unnecessary, but had she not come after Abby, who knows if these people would have ever been free? Who knows if this uprising would have ever happened, right? So again, there's these butterfly wings happening because of all of the choices she's made, that none of them are just black and white. You've got this constant gray you have to reconcile with.
Oh, they're staring at her like she's some kind of wild animal. Again, like there's this whole crazy thing going on here of like slaves and slavers, and Ellie cares none of that. It's just she's so single-minded about Abby, and pretty soon, she, like in gameplay, she's gonna just start repeating Abby, Abby.
I wonder how much of Ellie is hoping to die in that fight. But I love how surprising the speed is, right? It's like you keep moving towards this idea of this fight. And the whole way you're like, Ellie, you're too fucked up. Don't do this. Don't face Abby. We know what she's like, and now you come to this. But I love how surprising the speed is, right? It's like you keep moving towards this idea of this fight, and the whole way you're like, Ellie, you're too fucked up. Don't do this. Don't face Abby. We know what she's like, and now you come to this absolutely wrecked, frail.
I also love it's pretty much wordless, and you could tell so much with the performance what's going on in their heads, and you could see Ellie's confusion and anger and sadness for what she's witnessing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like finally the prize is right there, and now it just doesn't feel as satisfying.
I always read that like there are boats this way moment is like, if I'm nice to her, if I'm just like treat her like not my enemy, then maybe like this will all go by quietly.
To me, this is a really nice mirror beat of Joel with Ellie, Joel carrying Ellie, right? And so you have that invocation, and Ellie just has to watch it, has to watch this embodiment of somebody who represents every good part of Joel.
It makes me so sad. This scene. It's just because Ellie doesn't know what to do with all of that anger and that hurt from losing Joel. And now this is the moment.
Yeah, because at this point, that's all Ellie has left. It's just this fucked up quest. Yeah, imagine having that image stuck in your head and not knowing how to get rid of it.
Yeah. And killing somebody else is not going to do it, but
You have to get to that point. You have to realize it yourself.
This was we actually had a really fun day.
Yeah.
As hard as this scene was, and it's so funny doing this with one of your best friends, of just like fighting each other, pulling her hair, being like, get out of here, let's fight, kick me.
No. I'm not gonna fight you.
I think that threat is fake, right? It's, I don't think.
Yes. I don't think...
She's bluffing.
I absolutely think she's bluffing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, but I agree, but what would have happened if Abby was like...
No.
No. Like, I feel like she still would have pushed that... I think she would have pushed that knife in.
This is great that there's all these different interpretations.
That's so cool.
I don't think she would. There were all these other versions of how Ellie lost her fingers. You remember, Hallie, of like, there used to be when someone was waiting for her at the farm and then tortured her in retribution for what happened in Seattle.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was like the parent or somebody of somebody who died, of like an NPC essentially, who came, and so you're seeing that cyclical nature of violence of like, you killed my person, you killed my person, you killed my person. So somebody you didn't even realize you'd really killed tracks Ellie down.
Wow.
I love how you pin her with your knee.
Yeah. So originally the conception was that Abby dies here. And it would have been such a different game, I think, if right now there was just a body underwater and Ellie was having this moment. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know Abby died here originally.
Well, yeah, originally, like, I think both Yara and Lev died. And this was just Abby by herself when you meet up with her. And then Ellie kills Abby.
Rough.
Yeah.
I think leaving Ellie with 3% of the humanity that she got from who she was, that good kid, that scrappy kid that Joel helped shape. I think if she killed Abby, you would never see that kid again. And this gives a hope that she's still in there a little bit and could be maybe revived in the same way that Abby was revived in the right circumstance.
I agree.
Seeing the reactions, there's people that wanting to know, what was it exactly that made Ellie stop? Is it Lev? Is it this memory of Joel? Is it everything she's experienced? Is it just like Abby's state, that it's not this person that defeated her in the theater? And to me, it's all those things. The way our brains work is so messy. And that's the story was always meant to be very messy in that way, that there aren't these clear-cut answers.
To me, that moment is 2 more seconds, this girl is dead. So I already know what this feels like. I can see what I'm going to feel like 5 seconds from now.
Yes.
And it's no different.
Yes.
So why? Originally, the house was fully empty. And there was a concern, I think, that we had that it's going to feel like something bad happened to Dina, and we don't want to make it feel like it's...
Right.
That's the thought in her head. It's more, Dina has made that choice to move back.
If she had to move back too, she couldn't stay there alone with a baby. It was too dangerous.
But I do think there's something poetic in, like, she didn't take Ellie's things with her.
Yeah.
There wasn't a, I'm waiting for
I'm
you, I'm
leaving
going to
this
build her home.
behind.
It's I'm letting this,
Letting it
letting
go.
this die. Yeah, here. And I'm going to let everything rot for you.
Well, that's really bleak.
Yeah, we wanted to create a metaphor for the unintended consequences of pursuing justice at any cost. And here we get to feel it of this song that means so much to Ellie, she just can't play it anymore. Also interesting thinking about Joel's headspace right now, like just been humiliated by Ellie in front of everyone. Who knows what's going through his head, but for me, sometimes when I get just filled with anxiety, it's guitar. It's just sitting down and just jamming and just...
Yeah, not even playing a song, just playing through something.
And we've had this scene at different spots of the game until we finally landed. It's this final moment.
Yeah, I think originally we were going to put it before the midpoint showdown of the game.
Right.
Oh, it plays so much better at the end.
Yeah, no, now you can't imagine it anywhere else once it's here.
What are you drinking?
Traded his soul for coffee.
Where'd you get that?
Those people that came through last week.
Oh. I would do the
I'm a little
same.
embarrassed as to what I had to trade.
This is the most Ashley has ever pushed back on a scene.
Wait, really?
This was because originally it was written that they hug at the end of the scene, and you're like, I don't know if they would. I'm not sure like we could get all the way there. You were a sport about it, and we did two versions, one with a hug, one without a hug, and they were both very, very good. But ultimately, you were right. They're starting to forgive each other, but they're not fully there. Ultimately, makes it more tragic.
Yeah. I think that's why she goes on this journey, because it's just like it was never solved. Our relationship was never fixed.
Dina. Is she your girlfriend?
No. No, that was just one kiss. It doesn't mean anything. She just, I don't know why she did that.
But you do like her.
They just have like a father-daughter moment. Just this exchange about this crush that she has on this other girl, and Joel telling her like she would be lucky to have you. Again, he has unconditional love for Ellie, and that's what drives her mad. It'd be so much easier if he was just a complete piece of shit.
Oh
Then
yeah,
you could just forget about him.
Yeah,
but you can't.
I mean, that's what's hard. I mean, she knows that he cares, and she knows that he does love her.
I was supposed to die in that hospital.
I also love that you
My life
bring
don't
it back
fucking
to
matter.
we're talking around the thing that we need to talk about.
You took that from
And
me.
you doing all of these gestures to try to make it better is not what I want. I'm going to bring it back to what the issue is, and that's I should have died in that hospital.
I also love watching. When do you both decide to make eye contact?
Oh, right, interesting.
And it's like right here for I watch at the end of this statement for emphasis. All eye contact. Because I am dead serious. I don't care the cost. I would do it all over again. Even if it means I lose you.
There is something to be said for your writing in this, which is I would do it all over again, and I would do it all over again. Walk the knife's edge of meaning. Because there's one that is repentant, and there is one that is resolute.
I don't think I can ever forgive you for that.
like this false moment. I can never figure that. And he's ready to accept it. And then he's all of a sudden, but I'd like to try. And then I think the water works for everyone.
Yeah.
Just start right here.
Oh.
We did a lot of work of just writing these scenes and not being heavy-handed to talk about theme, but there is something about just the placement of the scene here. And it's a scene about getting over some horrible transgression that one feels, because there's other things that are worthwhile in this world than just kind of living in this resentment, next to the moment where Ellie decides to let Abby go. And whether she fully forgives her or not almost doesn't even matter. It's just she knows there's other things in life that are more worth putting your focus on. It's interesting reading, seeing since the game has come out. It's been out for a few years now. How many different interpretations there are for this leaving of the guitar here, whether it's she's fully forgiven Joel, or whether she's fully forgiven Abby, or whether she's willing to move on, or whether she just doesn't want to be under Joel's shadows anymore. And when people always I don't know if you get this often, people often come to me and they want the answer. They're like, which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's all those things. It's all those things in some way. Like, people's minds are so complicated.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's what we've been talking about with grief and how that can sort of manifest in somebody.
I'll caveat by saying this is my own interpretation. And it doesn't mean that it's right. It's just mine. But sometimes you have so many triggers for trauma that you just need to let anything that might trigger you, just have to let it go and start over.
I mean, how I felt in that moment of, it's easier just to not get close to people.
We know when we were writing this, we had so many conversations about leaving it on a hopeful note. And even though it's very dark, I do find it to be a hopeful note. It's left with that question of, like, once you've committed all these atrocities yourself, can you come back from that? And we saw that Joel was able to. And then maybe Ellie could as well.
Hey.
Morning.
Sorry, I totally overslept. Just give me a minute and I'll get dressed.
I heard you had quite a night after I left.
She kissed me. It was just Dina being Dina. She didn't mean anything by it.
I was talking about your fight with Seth. Wait, you kissed Dina?
Oh. I thought this...
We're broken up 1 week and you make a move on my girl?
No. She was probably just trying to make you jealous. I would never... Oh, fuck, this is awkward.
I'm messing with you, man. I don't care. Get dressed.
You're the worst.
It's kind of fucked up you did that.
Get your stuff together, we're already late.
Smells fine. Okay. Sure. Hey, is Joel up?
We got reports of infected out north. We had sent him and Tommy out early to scout.
That sucks.
Yep. Can't imagine they got much sleep. Definitely not as much as you.
Shut up. I was just about to get up. I was.
You got everything?
Yes.
Heads up, you're the talk of the town this morning.
What?
Let me see if I got this right. You kissed Dina,
She kissed me.
which triggered Seth to call you a not-so-nice word.
Yep.
Then Joel decked him,
More of a push.
and then you got mad at Joel. That part confused me.
It was a strange night, man.
Sounds exciting. Sorry I missed it.